have to talk. We have to talk about what's going on in the Diddy trial. Diddy just had a meltdown in the middle of court, and your girl was in the main courtroom, and we saw it all. Listen, the defense is struggling. I don't know how. Listen, let me just say this. The defense was questioning everybody. I'm trying to sneak really quick, and then I'm going back inside, okay? The defense was literally struggling, and I mean struggling, to find a way to frame things with Cassie. It's so funny that what they ended up doing was basically giving a line of questioning that wasn't to get to the bottom. You're not beating those charges, but you were giving clips for the internet. They asked Cassie about the baby oil and didn't have rugs in it. Cassie was like, not while we were together. But the meltdown, y'all, the meltdown. The defense does not know what they're doing. Let me tell you this. They can spin it all they want on these legal shows. All of Diddy's PR people and contacts and pulling every contact they want. Diddy's defense is struggling. That mofo is going to jail with 6 L's behind it. However, I'll tell you what, right? It seemed like today Diddy woke up and realized, wait a second, this isn't a slam dunk. Why did he do that? Well, check this out, okay? This is the most interesting thing. I'm right at the courthouse. Shout out to y'all. Listen, but let me tell you, and also Sarah, if you're watching this, I will reach out. We're going to do dinner together. Listen. So what happened in the meltdown? I have so many notes, like literally 20 pages of notes. Let me see if I can pull them out and get them together for y'all. Hold on one second. Let me show y'all the scene outside the courthouse too, while I get my notes together, in case y'all curious. So this is the courthouse, right? That's the public entrance. I'm not supposed to be filming on the steps, but the Homeland Security usually let me go. Let me see if I can sneak a little thing. This is all the press lined up right now, right? Your girl's been mixing and matching. Y'all might see me on, well, let me keep it quiet. But look, so this is where the press is. This is Department of Homeland Security. Everything is going well. Right? So let me see if I can find a good place to film. Let me see if I can stick this on something. And then we're going to have a good talk. Okay. Is that good or no? No? What about right here? No. That's a bad angle. What about right here? Right? No? Does that look stupid too? Okay. Anyway, I'm just going to have to hold this mug in my hand. Okay. So let me tell y'all what happened. There it goes. This is the Department of Homeland Security. Usually be telling me to move. But I know what y'all saying, get off these New York steps. You're right, because the rats and roaches be having like Cinderella balls. What am I doing? I keep forgetting I'm back in New York City. You can't be sitting on the floor in New York City. I'm just saying. Okay, so really quick, let's get into this courtroom meltdown, because you guys, it was shocking. Yamisha, thank you so much for the super chat. Also, Charlotte Patrina, thank you so much for the super chat. And I want to give a shout out to Tweenie3, said, literally been waiting for hours for your updates. The only person who comes with facts, direct, love your work, keep it up. Thank y'all so much. Okay, so the courtroom meltdown, let's get right into this, okay? So the defense ended up, so let me give y'all the setup, and then I'm going to tell y'all about the meltdown. The defense literally screwed themselves over. They tried to do something cute with the judge. I talked about this in the last live. It did not work. The judge basically said, cut the cap. Literally, they were sitting there, yeah. The judge looked at Mark and Philly almost like, man, just put the fries in the bag, bro, and make sure they hot, right? I was looking at him like, can you please move on? The judge said, nah. He said, so you're going to be done, when you're going to be done your cross? They looked at the judge and said, Yana, Mark Agnifilio. Oh my God, they got in so much trouble today. The judge was like, yo, when are y'all going to be done with your cross examination, right? Everybody know that Cassie got to leave exactly on Friday, because she is heavily pregnant. She might go into labor any minute, right? Everybody knows that Cassie has to leave. They were talking about all the week. The defense said, oh, somebody just left. Let me take their spot. The defense was like, yo, the defense all week, because they've just been lying, has been like, yo, we'll be done by this day. Don't worry about it, this and that. So today the judge just happened to happenstance. This is my fit. You know what? Sorry, that's my fit. I got capris on. Anyway. But, you know, court, I should have wore a tank top underneath, but oh well, I guess I gave everybody a show. Anyway, Tina Casley said, girl, you're doing the damn thing with your reporting. Thank you so much. And Marie said, girl, you out here doing the thing, a real journalist. I've been watching you all day. Thank you so much. And Florcy Labella said, thanks for the great job, Tisa. You welcome. Okay, so listen, because I got to get back into the court soon. I am Kimda Goldman. Thank you so much for the super chat. So here's what happened. So the defense was like, the judge just happened to just casually, he wasn't even expecting the answer. He was like, yo, so when y'all think y'all gonna be done testifying? Because the defense was bumbling so much. It was so slow. It was just like, oh my God. The judge was like, come on. The judge actually flat out asked them, how long on this? Like, when are you gonna wrap this up? So he was like, all right, so when do y'all expect to be done quizzing her? Because you need time for a direct, they're doing a cross-examination, then you do a redirect, then you do a redirect cross, right? So anyway, somebody's out there acting a damn fool. As long as they're not saying kill Kisa, I will continue. Anyway, right? I was like, wait, do I hear my name? Right? So anyway, ain't talking about me, none of my business, right? So anyway, he happened to say that to them. So they literally looked at the judge and said, we have no idea. It might go Monday, it might go Tuesday. The judge said, stop. I've been asking y'all all week when you're gonna be done. Y'all told me that you would be done by Friday or mid-morning Friday. What you mean you don't know? And you know this witness has a hard time. Like, you know this witness can't be around probably next week, right? Yeah. So then that's when they were like, well, Your Honor, what do you want us to do? The questions come. And the judge was like, I don't care that you are saying that these questions are coming, because you told me this and that, and that's what we base it. And you and everybody else in here know what the rules are. So Mark Agnifilio was like, Yana, this man might go to jail for life. And I said, it's about time somebody started talking about that potential life charges. Mark Agnifilio know that he's looking at life. Yana, this man is potentially facing life in jail. And you're telling us we don't have time with the witness? The judge, Aaron, looked at him like, you better stop. Literally, I saw Judge Aaron and was just looking like, you better wrap it up. He said, listen, this is what you told me. We gave you dates, we gave you times. You've been agreeing with us this whole week, and now you want to just do a switcheroo? Because what they thought they was going to do is run Cassie, run the clock out for Cassie. See, they thought since Cassie had a hard leaving of Friday, that if they just kept asking her dumb questions, then by Friday, right? By Friday, there wouldn't be any time for a redirect, which is when the prosecution gets a chance to ask more questions to make the defense team look stupid. So they thought they could run the clock out. Judge Aaron was like, that's not happening. I don't care if he's facing life in jail. I'm holding you to your word. You have all day today, and then you can have the morning of tomorrow. Following, unless it's extenuating circumstances, that's all you get, and then we're doing cross. And it's like, Yana, wait, don't agree. And the judge was like, okay, well, anyway, moving on. And Diddy was looking hot. Diddy was looking bothered because they had spent the better half of the morning asking Cassie stupid, nonsensical questions that you were just trying to get clicks and views. I bet you this weekend we see a bunch of misinformation coming out from TMZ and mainstream media, because that's all these questions said. Like, was there drugs in the baby oil? You try, like, I'm getting to the meltdown. Hold on. So they had wasted the better half of the morning not getting to anything. On top of that, that little trick they did where they literally said they're gonna give exhibits. That's what gets entered to the jury last minute and now they mess themselves up, because now in everything they put, the prosecution is like, objection. Is it authenticated? Let's enter it in. So you have limited time now, a day and a half, which isn't a lot of time considering you just spent the morning. So you got 4 hours in the morning, 4 hours in the afternoon, and you got 4 hours tomorrow. And you just spent 4 or 5 hours just BSing because you thought you was gonna run out the clock. These stupid games that Mark Agnifilio keeps playing has finally blew up in his face. Anyway, Diddy was pissed. Let's get to the meltdown. Diddy was so mad. When I say mad, I said mad. December Capricorn said, my wife and I so enjoy all your commentary. You seem to love what you do, and that's refreshing to see. Keep telling them. T said, thank you so much. Marabella, thank you so much, December Capricorn. Marabella Ladia. Tonelli said, T said, thank you so much for this. Oh, well, hold on. Let me take my time and make this. Hey, how are you? What's that? Are you in the Nation of Islam? Really? Wait, but quick question. Are you in the Nation of Islam? Are you really? Do you have a contact? Hold on a second, y'all. 1 second. I wanted to text y'all about something.
Go ahead. Give me your info, and I'll send it right.
Hold on 1 second, y'all. Hold on, really quick.
Yes.
Okay, in the main
Yes,
courtroom.
yes.
Okay, because I don't want to put my digits out on the thing, but I want to talk to you about.
No problem.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So if you see me, Sam, but I'm gonna be looking for you. Okay.
problem.
All right. What's your name?
Richard.
Richard. Okay. What's your wife's name?
Deborah.
Shout out to Deborah. Deborah, Richard is a good man. You better keep him. All right. See ya. Sorry, I had to link up with the Nation of Islam. So anyway, right, let me get back into what I was saying. Sorry, guys. Dwight, thank you so much for the super chat. Also, I am Kendall Gomez. Welcome to the family. DS said, thank you, Tisa. You welcome. Linda Young, thank you for the super chat. Miss Carter for Business, thank you for the super chat. Bissy Judic said, this is my first super chat, Tisa. Like, share, and comment. Oh, thank you so much. Maribella Oma Uguma said, you working, girl. You got to get paid. Thank y'all so much. Blue Sky said, shout out to the notes. Yo, this notepad been through hell. It almost died in the rain last night, but we saved it. Mo Beautiful said, I'm so glad you were able to go and give us the deets. You're super smart and can pick up on the slightest things that others might miss. Thank you. And this dog said, I've been following CNN Summary, and I'm right to think Puff's defense isn't working. I'm grateful for your coverage. Thank you so much. I think you are right to think that, but for different reasons. I'm about to get into the meltdown. Victoria Adu Harpending said, you're doing a great job. T said, thank you for being a member also for 11 months, Victoria. Hold on. Also, Miss Gemini, what's up, twin? Said, hey, TT, looking like an earth goddess in white. Thank y'all so much. Also, Tara Brown said, great job, Tisa. Keep spilling the tea, baby. You guys, I'm about to get to the meltdown. Hold on, but let me just get through this. Tatiana busted down. Said, me and my mom love your reporting. Thank y'all. Shout out to Mama Tatiana. Let me stop. I am Oz. Thank you so much for the super chat. Oh, Myrna Shibley. What's up, Myrna? Thanks for being a member for 10 months. Said, congrats. You got your first shout out from the Hollywood Reporter. The Hollywood Reporter should be give another shout out considering that you're there. I'm about to link up with them. Oscar Franco, thank you so much for the super chat. And also, Lo Davison, thank you so much for the super chat. I also want to say very much so, Maribella Lydia Tonelli, girl, you just bought me lunch and dinner for 2 days. Thank you. You said, Tisa, you're an amazing girl. Much love, Chicago. Stay safe because P. Diddy Shifty is a one-eyed snake. Girl, thank you so much, and thank you for this generous super chat. I am funding this whole trip myself, so y'all always call me broke. But guess what? Your girl is this week, but I'm glad I'm out here. And Maribella, thank you for this super, super generous super chat. Super, super, super. I wonder how Paul's doing. Paul, if you're out there, I hope everything's going well. I haven't heard from you in a while. I hope you are out here doing well. 434NA said yes, in the Nation of Islam, make your contacts. That's right, the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan. Let's get into this also. Free, every time I see Nation of Islam, I'm like, y'all Nation of Islam, please connect with me. Free MD, thank you so much for the super chat. And also Janae Humphrey said, love you, mama, proud of you and what you have, because can't wait to see more. Oh, thank y'all, I appreciate that. All right, so let's get into the meltdown. Let me get into my notes. Hold on, y'all. Okay, so the meltdown. After the judge said, y'all ain't got much more time and you're gonna have to wrap it up in 3 to 4 business hours, right? That's when things got crazy. Diddy looked like he wanted to erupt. He was radiating anger. I mean, radiating anger. So much that the judge was like, yo, can we take a quick, we're going to take a quick break. He was sitting there radiating anger. Now, normally when Diddy's there, it is Mark Agnifilio, Tinny Garagos, you got Diddy, then you got Brian Still, then you got that Shapiro girl, and then you got this one other girl. I don't know what her name is. Hey, what's up? I don't know what her name is. Then in the tables, there's a long table in front of them. You got Westmoreland, the new counsel, and you got the Xavier, his other counsel. Then there's the expert witnesses sometimes there. Then you got the paralegals for the either defense or prosecution, right? Like the assistant. Okay, so that's what's going on. Usually what's going on is everybody's huddled around Diddy. Diddy's either leaned into Tinny Garagos, talking, acting like he running stuff, or he leaned into Brian, talking, acting like he running stuff, right? Y'all got the vibes, right? Mark Garagos sometimes leans over, but Diddy's usually keyed up with Tinny Garagos. Sometimes Garagos. Mark Agnifilio will sometimes get up and he'll stand over them. So they're like this weird trifecta of a pyramid of evil where it's Tinny, Diddy, Brian. Brian still's not evil. I'm going to connect with Brian still, actually. He's very good at what he does, right? And then you got Mark Garagos over them, and they're all talking. Sometimes Xavier will get up from the table and be like, yo, what y'all talking about? And then Westmoreland, she'll quietly be observing, right? She doesn't get too mixy. She just quietly observes. Sometimes I wonder if that defense is actually excluding her. It makes, I don't know. It's just, I don't know. But listen, I'm watching all the body language, right? Southern Girl said you are going in overtime. Thank you so much. And Nikki C, thank you so much for the super chat. Also, Prosperity Thick Girl said, hey sis, hey. Also, Big Rob from the group home said, keep up the work. What's your Cash App? Cash App is Tisa Tells. $ Tisa Tells. Thank y'all. Sparkle said, girl, work that reporting. Thank y'all so much. L. Adams said, Tahoe, you for the L. Thank you for the insight, Tisa. Somebody be going to Lake Tahoe a lot. I see that's in your spell check. Get it how you live it. Ashura Kirkland said, I love your podcast. Always informative. Be safe. I will. And the real artsy creator, thank y'all so much for the super chat. YY said, get it, girly. The outfits are eating. Oh, thank y'all. Y'all so used to me sitting on my couch in my pajamas. Can't wait to get back. Okay, so listen, that's the scene it usually is. After that F up, and the judge basically cursing them out and said, you better, he literally was like, cut it out. Cut it out. I don't want to hear it. And he was very firm and very annoyed because Mark Agnifilio is always pulling this shit. The judge says A, Mark does B, and then says, Yana, we thought you said D. He's been doing that since the beginning of the trial. The judge finally put his foot down and was really, and was like, and it's not working. And guess what? This is finally going to cost your time. Even Mark being like, Yana, he can go to jail for the rest of life. Judge Iron looked at him like, and what they got to do with me? I'm sorry, because y'all was, I thought somebody that was wasting my time and lying to me is now trying to guilt trip me. Okay, so that's the scene. After that happened, George Arum was so frustrated. He was like, yo, let's take a 10-minute recess, right? Oh, Daniel Phillip. Oh my God. Thank you so much for the Cash App. Super generous. And I will check my, and Robert Campbell, thank you so much for the super chat. I will check my emails. Thank y'all. Okay, so, that happened. Then the judge was like, yo, let's just take a break, right? Because it was hot. Kimberly R., you said he needs to go down, baby. He is going down. So the judge was like, you know what? Let's just take a break. All right. Diddy was radiating anger. Terva Francis, thank you so much for the Cash App. Thank you, Tevra. Diddy was radiating anger. So much so. So I am beloved. Thank you so much for joining Tattletales. So much so that, and Abina Sliman, thank you so much. So much so that all the people were standing away from him. I've never seen anything like it. He was radiating anger. All the lawyers are usually keyed up, and him and Tinny Garagos are laid up like they bosom buddies. They were all standing at least 5 feet away. Nobody dare go near him. Brian still was not in the courtroom when it happened, but even when he came back in, he tried to sit back down with Diddy like, yo, what's up? Diddy gave him a look. Brian even got up and stood over a few feet. Nobody would go near Diddy. He was radiating anger. And I was like, this mofo got a problem. If you know everybody in the courtroom is watching you, and you look like you calling them every B-I-C-T-H under their breath, nobody would go near him. They kept looking to try to approach. He would say something. He would cut them a look. They would go back over. Diddy was 2 seconds away from losing it. And get this, after that break, he then started calling them over one by one, like, get over here, right? And then would, like, mouth something to them. I couldn't read his lips, but I could read his body language, and he was like, like, he was like, it looked like he was calling them B-I-T-C-H's. Hey, Andrea Blake, thank you so much for the Cash App. He looked like he was calling them out of every name in the book. But you know how, like, the way if you was acting up in the supermarket or at, like, school night, and your mom called you over and she know that she can't yell at you or slap you across the face. So they're just like, she's just like, you better sit down. And she talking through her teeth. And I don't even know if I want to go home because I know it's going to be rain and thunder and lightning on my head when I go in. That's the way he was talking to him, okay? So then that was in the break. So then they all had to sit down and it was like a funeral of this. And Diddy was sitting there. And after that, for the next thing, Hey, Auntie D, thank you so much for the Cash App. Also, Robin Silver, thank you. Robin Silver Mayweather, thank you so much for the Cash App, okay? Shout out to Alfie. What's going on, girl? So anyway, Small and Wolfit said, T said, it's your girl who dropped you the T 2 years ago. What's up? What's up, Small and Wolfit? I'm always watching you. Here's your new bombshell connection. Audie interrogation is oddly timed to Epstein being Epstein. And another one I tagged you in, the only video Audie uploaded 6 years ago. Girl, let me screenshot this. What? Hold on, I literally screenshot YouTube lives, but I'll come back to that. Email me. I'm like, what? Anyway, Miss Duna Glow said, awesome coverage, teacher. Much love from New Zealand. Thank y'all so much. Girl, email me. Or Cat Whitefishes, have the tunnels come up? Not yet, not yet, not yet. Oh, also, Chyla Too Much said, rewatch that audio interrogation. That was crazy. It was wild work. Nikki said, P. Diddy has a fragile ego. It's not a fragile ego. He realized that he spent 10, 13, actually he spent more than 10 million. He realized he's probably spent 15, 17 million at this point for the whole thing. Francine Laviva, thank you so much. You said coffee and lunch. Thank you. Okay, so in any case, right? Cali Girl, 619, thank you so much for the super chat. So anyway, let me get back to business. So then they sit down. Diddy took complete control of his defense. Everybody in it, Sonia Pagan, thank you so much for the super chat. Every single person that was on that team, Diddy was writing them notes. He was barking orders. He was, usually during the thing, your co-counsel will come and whisper something like, hey, this, that. Diddy was telling them what to say, what to do, how to stand up. He was running the show like an orchestra. They were just sitting there like little robots. Like even the defense attorney that was questioning Cassie, every time Diddy looked at her, she'd be like, what? Hold on. Diddy would pass the notes on Matt, like, and would pass it over 3 lawyers, and she would stop her questions and be like, so tell me when you were having an affair with Kid Cudi. Francina Lavia, thank you so much for blessing me again. And DeRay Myers, thank you so much. And Shonda, thank you so much, too, for the Cash Apps. Y'all, it was wild. Prosperity 60 said, Tisa Tell, this is where I get my news. Stay blessed and be safe. Thank y'all so much, Mama. I will. When I say he had a meltdown, y'all, I've never seen what they were talking about with the Diddy anger radiating and the way it was like a bomb went off and then he took control. Let me tell y'all something. Diddy was running that whole thing. Misha Flores, thank you so much for the Cash App. Every dumb question that he asked Cassie, right? About whether she was cheating with Kid Cudi and this and that. We're going to get into that too. Every dumb question that she had actually came directly from him. The lawyers wouldn't make a move. And you know what? And when I was watching that, I was like, yo, pride go. And they wouldn't even look him in the eyes. They were just like little soldiers. Pride go. And all I thought was pride goeth before the fall. Diddy's ego is so big that he really thinks that he is going to do something with this whole Cassie thing by directing it. Your ego is so big that you really somehow think that we're gonna slut shame Cassie, let you off. You really think that? And here's the thing: everything that he was asking her about was meant to make a shot. Hey, what's up, Rosie Harris? Thank you so much for the super chat. Thank you. So the whole point of the matter is, every single thing that they were doing, he was doing it for the headlines. He was doing it so people could be like, oh, Cassie's this, Cassie that. Oh, wait, hold on. Oh my God, thank you so much, Dory. So anyway, he did it, I think, for the headlines. But Diddy, you are looking at life in prison. The prosecutors have you dead to rights. And you up here trying to run a smear campaign to make us think that Cassie is loosey-goosey because she saw somebody. Y'all was together for 11 years, and she started seeing Kid Cudi for a month, and you want us to sit there and say that was it? Listen, they said it's Corey Jacobs, a Diddy's senior advisor there. So I see a bunch of PR people. I have to Google how Corey Jacobs looks. I have to look and see how Corey Jacobs actually looks. Veronica, but I'll let you know, okay? Who asked me that? Give me the bag, sir. Thank you so much for the super chat. I'm going to look into Corey Jacobs Sr. Veronica Williams, thank you so much for becoming part of the Tattertall family. And D1, welcome to the Tattertall family. Also, VMN said, I've been cheering you on since you began your coverage. Thank you for never compromising and being a voice for justice. Girl, the looks are killing. Thank y'all so much. Also, Sasha Joe, Daniel Foster, thank you so much for the Cash App. Sasha Joe said, "Love your takes, Tisa. Would you mind doing would you mind do thank yous? Oh yeah, thank you at the ends, please. It's so far off the focus. No, I love you and I say that respectfully, but you guys, like, I'm working. Chelsea Lane, Creation Station. Thank you so much. But you know what? I'll start doing them in blocks, okay? I'll start doing them in blocks, okay? I aim to please. Thank you, VMNs, for the super chats. We're about to get to the next segment of the presentation. I'm going to get into all my notes. It's really, really good. Small and Left said, I'll email you, girl. I'll put SOS in the subject. What I have is only for you to drop, girl, like you did 2 years ago for all the trolls. Shut up. I've been here for 30 months. Tisa always appreciates her super chats. Thank y'all so much. Y'all know I appreciate the chat. Y'all better stop telling people to stop super chatting me. I will cut this live off right now. Stop playing. Chelsea Lane, Creation Station, thank you. Deborah Wooten, thank you so much. Also, I want to give a shout out to Nadine. You sent my first ever super chat. Appreciate the coverage. Thank you, Nadine. Thank you. Also, I want to give a shout out to Brittany White. We're almost to the bottom of the super chat, so we're going to get into the notes, and I can't guarantee you it's going to gag y'all. Brittany White said, hey, Tisa, do you think the government should put an expert on DV or Stockholm Syndrome on that stand to help jurors understand Cassie's behavior? Funny thing you say that, Brittany White. 100%. And they are going to do it. Also, Bold and Red said, keep up the good work, beautiful. Deb's daughter, welcome to the Tattertall family. Also, Brunzumbi, you're awesome. Thank you. Also, hey, Natalie, thank you so much for the super chat. And we have, hold on, almost to the bottom, Tony Lewis, thank you for the generous super chat. Also, Tracy Davis at Tisa, you better keep doing what you're doing. I absolutely love it. Thank you, Tracy Davis. Also, Teddy B, thank you for the super chat. I appreciate it. Yamisha Lewis, thank you so much for the super chat. And Super Karen Experience, thank you for the super chat. Also, Sharita Jackson, you said, love your reporting on the inside of the courtroom. You're welcome. Also, Kate, we almost done with the commercials. If y'all will sit there and watch a commercial on Netflix while you paying them $30 a month or whatever else, you can sit here and watch a commercial while I'm going through the super chats. Vacay TV, I am fan funded. Vacay TV, not that y'all fans, but I am family funded. We family. Vacay TV said, big up Tisa, your fearless, elegant coverage of the Diddy case is unmatched. Your voice is powerful. London misses you. Come back soon. Thank you. Southern Girl 777 said, the trolls keep trolling. Let them troll. We don't care. They've said worse. Sherry 1215, but thank you for the super chat, said, love the updates, love it. Also, She Be Super said, hey Tisa, how long do you plan to stay there for the trial? I don't know. Trina Lewis said, thank you, Tisa. Y'all know, if y'all see me in my pajamas, y'all know I'm back. If not, you know I'm here. Dell said, shout out to you, Tisa, coming from England. Evening, governor. Have y'all seen on TikTok the 100 Americans versus the 100 UK people who will win in a fight? Stacy's midlife said, thanks, Tisa. Keep up the good work. And CC 2 cents, thank you so much for that super chat. And Jen, thank you for joining the family. All right, let's get into some of these notes, all right? Thank you for bearing through the commercial break. I tried to do a little dance. Thanks for bearing through the commercial break. Let's get into these notes, okay? So, it was so weird in there, okay? It was just weird. First of all, they kept trying, thanks to Diddy running the team, they kept trying to justify, Brandy Epps, thank you so much for the super chat. They kept trying to justify Diddy bombing Kid Cudi's car and beating Cassie to a pulp because Cassie knew that when Diddy cheated on her, it was with non-celebrity women. But when she cheated on him, she was cheating with celebrities. And that was not even that one celebrity. They literally expected us to believe that all that violence, all the fire, all the arson, everything was because Cassie dated Kid Cudi for 30 days and had a burner phone. It literally was the mind of a madman. And you could tell that the defense were like, oh, this isn't playing well. But they weren't going to do anything to disrupt their cash cow. Let me get into these notes. Hold on, because I took a lot of it. Da, 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 da. Hold on. I have a lot of notes. Let's get in. Okay, I did that. They went into more dumb text messages. Okay. So there was one, right? Where Diddy, hey, Cynthia Hart, thank you so much for the Cash App. So Diddy had the nerve to invoke Kim Porter's name. And this was directly what he told him to pull up a text with Cassie when Cassie, and they were saying like, Cassie, you were insanely jealous, were you not? And Cassie was like, I guess you can say I was. She's very, very well spoken, beautiful voice. It has a nice like rumble to it, but it's not too high, not too low, just like very warm. It draws you in, right? There was a thing where Diddy said, Cassie wrote a text message that said, you are not Bruce Willis. She was mad that Diddy took Kim and the kids on the family trips. She literally said in it, first of all, we've been together for how long? And the kids, Chase is allowed to go on vacation without her mother, so why can't I be there? Unless there's something I don't know that's going on between you and Kim. Now, when I heard that, I said, Diddy, this is a low blow that you're even talking about Kim Porter while you're in, because you're trying to get the public mad at Cassie to make Cassie look like she was the other woman and you and Kim Porter's relationship. Even though whether Cassie was around or not, you was never down for Kim and you was never playing a man. And you didn't even think the woman that gave you how many kids on this earth was worthy of being your wife and your life partner. And you trying to make it seem like Cassie wasn't worthy. Anyway, I will say from all the messages they showed about Cassie, I said, well, maybe when I was in my early 20s, I was just a little demon, because this is Cassie insanely jealous. She sounded so logical, so thoughtful, so sweet, so everything. So I was very, very confused as to how they were saying that this was the insane jealousy, right? But Diddy was messing with her mind, was messing with the mind. Also, Shanita So Blessed said, you're doing your damn thing, Tisa. I'm watching from the Bay Area. This is my first ever super chat. Love you, girl. Stay safe. I will. Also, Janelle Barr said, love you, Tisa. Yes, I love you too, sis. Honeybee Therapy said, I look forward to your reporting. Thank you. Real Faith Unfiltered with Red Pat said, newbie here. You are awesome. And also, who else am I missing? Victoria Zelensky said, looking gorgeous and giving the tea. Okay, so, right? I made a note that said, this woman is dragging it. That's the prosecutors, right? She said, when they were like, you got insanely jealous when you saw photos of Diddy and Kim, would it make her mad? Cassie was like, sometimes. Yolanda James, thank you for the super chat. Kiloga Jonathan said, hello. Thank you for the super chat from South Africa, right? Listen, Diddy was invoking kids' names. Cassie's messages were so respectful. She even said, like, it didn't sound like she was actually really jealous or crazy. It sounded like she was asking for clarity, right? She said, she told him, you and Kim have been over unless there's something I don't know, right? But why am I not allowed around the family? Now, Diddy did this, and all these questions came straight from Diddy. He was snapping his fingers, passing notes. They were literally nothing but puppets. If Diddy could have knocked them out the way and gave testimony, he would have, all right? I mean, knocked them out the way and did the questioning, he would have. Nick CA, thank you so much for the super chat. Also, TLD said, thank you for your service. Okay, right? Also, they then said, we found a text message from someone named Ruth, right? And Cassie was like, okay. They're like, do you remember this message? She said it was 10 years ago. Why would I remember it? They were like, well, you messaged the woman Ruth that Diddy was seeing. And Cassie was like, was he? I don't know. I mean, he could have been. And then, listen, and the defense attorney was looking like, oh God, she's not doing what's supposed to happen. And she looked over at Diddy. Thank you, Andre Michelle, for the super chat. She looked over at Diddy, and Diddy was like passing more notes. And she was like, but you were jealous, right? And Cassie was like, I could have been. Lauren Z, thank you so much for the super chat. Cassie was like, yo, I could have been. I don't know. And in Love 121, welcome to the Tattletales family. Anyway, right? So she was like, but he was cheating on you a lot, wasn't she? And she's like, he could have been. And she was like, but you were jealous about all these girls. And she was like, no, just one girl. And they were like, who? And she was like, yo, mainly, she was like, yo, mainly Gina, right? Right? She said, mainly Gina. And she was like, what? She said, no, mainly Gina. And I said, oh, Gina Hun, Diddy's #1 dummy. I wonder, but even though Gina testifies, I'm gonna owe her a lot of apologies because right now I think she's victim #3, according to what Judge Aaron, the hints he get. I think that she's actually victim #3, but she could show up on the stand. So if she does, Gina, I'm sorry, but if you don't show up on the stand, you're the biggest dummy in the world. Biggest dummy. And if Diddy gets off, you gonna pay. And if he don't get off, you still gonna pay because you gave statements to the feds and he's never gonna forgive you for that. So why don't you do the right thing and show up? And let that chopper sing. But anyway, that was my commercial for Gina Hun to actually show up and testify. Unless she is already testifying, then I owe her an apology. And I will apologize live, right? So anyway, she said no. She said, I'm mainly mad at Gina. Gina was the problem. Gina was the one that was always this. Gina, right? Diddy was looking at the defense upset when he said that. But it made me wonder why. And then I said, yo, do you think he's asking all these Gina questions because at the end of the day, he wants us to punish? Like, he wants to punish Cassie. He liked when Cassie upset. He liked when Cassie was jealous. And the fact that Cassie is just so unbothered, that might be why he was upset, because his attempts to get under her skin just did not work, you know? Pamela Narciso, thank you so much for the super chat. Smile and will fit, thank you for joining the family. Valletta Williams, thank you so much. Black Butterfly said, you're a star reporter on this trial. T says, so proud of you. And also, Jen X said, sounds like Diddy's trying to have a personal argument with Cassie. Oh my God, Jen X, that's exactly what it was. She said, sounds like Diddy's trying to have a personal argument with Cassie after all this time. That's exactly what it was. There's something wrong with that man. Even how he was radiating anger. You was about to literally risk it all and be a Division I crash out in the middle of federal court. And you literally still trying to nag and play mind games with your girlfriend. The only thing is, I think he remembers Cassie is that 22-year-old. And Cassie is a woman now. The legendary kind. What's up, Sid? You're right. Cassie is no longer innocent. And Diddy's definitely guilty to the haters. In the chat, tell it all, Tisa. May hedge of protection to surround you. Thank you. No one trumps the great Lord. That's right. Taniki Brown said, hi, Tisa. This is your NYU nurse. Please give us a shout out. It's Nurses Week. You're doing a great job. Shout out to all the New York nurses, all the nurses all over the world. This is National Nurses Week. Make sure y'all treat y'all nurses right. And shout out to Taniki. Big Red said, girl, you go Nancy Grace Jr. Great job. Thank y'all. Oh, also really quick. Thank you for this commercial break. Yolanda Jane, welcome to the Tattletales family. Also, Kasori Clark, welcome to the Tattletales family. Rebecca, hold on. Kasori Clark, thank you for the super chat. And also Rebecca Dow, welcome to the super chat family. Thank you for that. B Crumbs, thank you for gifting a membership. I appreciate y'all so much. So much. Okay, so then what else happened? They get in the text message, right? Cassie wrote a text message. She's like, I feel like you're making me a side chick, that I'm only here to have a good time. I'll treat you as the king you are no matter what. That's when he showed up at like some festival with Gina Hun, but Gina Hun was like, he was pushing her off to the side, right? At the end of the day, you know what the crazy thing is? As much as they're trying to make it seem like Cassie is like crazy and an abuser and a stalker, according to Gina Hun's Tasha K interview, Gina Hun got her wish. And she pushed Cassie out from the side. And then Gina Hun was the one getting stomped and horribly abused. So it's kind of like, what are you trying to do with this Gina Hun stuff? She literally is like different girl, she got the same man that Cassie got. Super Chef TY, welcome to the Tattletales family. And also, I want to give a shout out to Chantel Shabao05. Welcome to the Tattletales family. Okay, so then Cassie denied knowing what the text meant. They're like, do you know what this text means? She said, not at all. She said, are you sure? She said, yeah, I'm sure. I'm pretty positive, right? Then they said that Diddy suspected that Cassie was cheating on him with Kid Cudi. So then the defense was like, isn't it true that you were cheating on Sean Combs with Kid Cudi? Cassie looked at them and said, no, I had broken up with Sean. I was not with him at the time that I was in Cudi. And the defense attorney, not prosecutor, defense attorney looked worried and kept looking over to the side to see what Diddy was saying and the notes she was passing. Every word that came out of those defense attorneys' mouths today were Diddy, okay? So then anyway, right? they said that, they said you suspected. She said I wasn't cheating. We had broken up, right? And they were like, isn't it true that Diddy paid for studio time and that you started seeing him? And she was like, that's correct. Diddy was mad. He was hot. And I said, that's right, Cassie. You let him know. But I'll tell you what, and I'm going to give you a little sneak peek. I find it funny that these people that Diddy cheated on her left, right, and third, beat her face and everything like that. You want us to feel sorry for her that Cassie had a flirtation with Kid Cudi after y'all broke out? So they were like, yo, and I put a note. Why does Cassie need to explain what she was doing when she was or wasn't with Diddy when they were broken up? Like, I'm confused, right? Now, they did bring up the fact that Cassie, they did bring up the fact, sorry, God, they did bring up the fact that Cassie had freak-offs with Diddy while they were broken up. And they were like, how do you explain that? Because Diddy passed a note. They were like, how do you explain that? And Cassie was like, that was my job. That was my job. My job was to do free calls. She literally let it know that at this point I wasn't even his girlfriend. I knew I wasn't. I was a sex worker and my job was to do free calls. I said, you better go. You better go. Chantel Shiba05 said, thank you so much. Shiba, welcome to the Tattletales family. Olivia Molina said, will Al be sure to testify and do you think he is forced to give up his parental rights? Listen, I'll be sure needs to be like, I'll be sure he telling the truth. Is he going to be forced to is he going to testify? I don't know, actually. He says he's been invited. Let's see if he testifies. If he does, good for him for doing the right thing. Good for him. If he doesn't, I will be disappointed but not surprised because I'll be sure just be talking. Was he forced to give up his parental rights? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. He was not forced to give up his parental rights at all. And the fact that he's now trying to see it, his other kids will tell you they got the Quincy treatment too. Anyway, Laura Smith said, you're a doll. This isn't easy, and hugs. Thank y'all so much, okay? Also, Miss Rand Douglas said, first time listener. Thank you so much for the content. I subscribe. Thank you, Miss Rand. Oh, also really quick, Lincoln Robinson, thank you for a member of Tattletales family. And Terry Phillips, thank you so much for being, for the super chat. Oh, last thing, Crystal Hayes, thank you so much for the super chat. And Erica Gabriel, thank y'all so much for the super chat. All right. So anyway, so I said to myself, I was like, why does Cassie have to explain anything, right? Again, she said she was still doing free calls. She said it was a job. She did have a burner phone. The prosecution kept getting notes from Diddy, and they kept asking her, why did you have a burner phone? And she's like, because I did. Why did you have a burner phone? Cassie was like, because I knew if Diddy found out, he'd be very upset. So you were cheating. I was not cheating. We weren't together. She said, so what were you doing? She was like, I was keeping it quiet. So you lied to him. I just didn't share information. And I said, I don't understand. Diddy and Cassie both acknowledged that during the Kid Cudi stuff, they weren't together. But even if they were, even if I take everything you're saying for true right now, even if everything you are saying is true about what happened, are you trying to say that the arson, the abuse, are you trying to say that all that mess happened? Because if somebody cheats on you, and again, this was Diddy's ego on display through the defense attorneys. The fact that you think that define you, that you have complete dominion over Cassie's mind and body, and if she defies you, you can go in on her. It boggled my mind. And I said, but good thing Diddy's on the ones and twos, because baby, you gonna make sure you stay with the rat. The rats and roaches in the cell are probably trying to let the federal prison know the dark Lord cometh. Please, please protect yourself. They probably sending SOS signals out there from their cell, letting everybody know to stay out of, all the rats and roaches to stay out of Diddy's federal jail. Listen, then on top of that, Cassie was like, I was not cheating on him. The defense attorney got passed another note. She looked really nervous, looked at Diddy, knew she had to ask a stupid question, and asked for the 18th time. Were you justified? And so you felt justified in cheating on Diddy with Kid Cudi? Because, and Cassie was like, I mean, you could say that, but then she reiterated, we were on a break, right? They were like, she was like, oh, so you got a burner phone to communicate with, Kid Cudi, and you're mad that Diddy found your burner phone, and that's how he found out. Cassie was like, no, Diddy grabbed my real phone and went through it. Oh, and then they looked all confused right? And Diddy was just sitting there looking mad. And the defense was like kind of scrambling, like, oh, it was your real phone? And she was like, yeah, it was my real phone. And they're like, oh, but they found your communications. And she was like, no, they found my communications with Capricorn Clark, Diddy's assistant. And that's how Diddy did it, right? Again, I said it's insane. They act like he has complete dominion over her mind, body, and soul, right? How does cheating, and she wasn't, but even if she was, how was cheating in any way, shape, or form justifying an attack, right? Like, why does she have to check in? It's just your neighborhood Smex worker, and she let it be known. Erica Gabriel, thank you so much for the super chat. I appreciate you, mama. She let it be known. So I was like, what is, I already thought, I thank you, Erica. Listen, before I was born said, though all things be legal, not all things are beneficial. Thank you so much for that. I appreciate you with that one. And that's true. Kath 11 said, shine your light. You are the best. Thank you. Shine your light on heaven, shine your, I remember it. Do you remember this TV show? Hold on, we having an interlude. I used to watch this show with my mom. Do y'all remember this TV show? I watch it on reruns. It's called Amen. Turn on the light and shine on, Lord. Shine on me, shine on me, shine on me, shine on me. It was a show called Amen. It came on in reruns. On Crackle, because they do, and my mom was watching Amen on Crackle. I love that show. Turn on the lights and shine a fun, shine on me, shine on me, shine on your light. Anyway, right? That was their theme song. Shine on me. Okay, yeah, Amen was the truth. Yo, remember when black shows were made for black people, for black audiences? Chef's kiss heyday. Anyway, right? And no offense to Kenya Burris and those that do for outside things, but there was something when it was like for us, book by us, you know, chef's kiss. Anyway, right? My girlfriends and 227. Shanette Tribbett said, my husband and I enjoy your commentary. Thank y'all so much, right? Okay, so she said, she said, Cassie said she broke up with Kid Cudi. And then she got back with Diddy. Now, the funny thing is, the defense kept trying to make Cassie say that she cheated on Diddy. She kept trying to make the prosecution say, okay, you cheated on Diddy. Now what? Now what? Now what? However, right? She said that, no, I broke up with Cudi and then I got with Diddy, okay? That's when Diddy had another meltdown. Hold on, I'm back. Sorry, y'all. I had to send a text out. Anyway, for my security. Hold on a second. Anyway, right? So she said she broke up with Kid Cudi and got back with Diddy. Diddy had another meltdown. He literally lost it after that, and the notes were flying. I'm surprised he wasn't throwing them like karate, like those little like stars. Anyway, they said Diddy was ordering people around. They were scrambling. They looked worried. Diddy was barking orders. Mark Agnifilio looked so worried once again. Okay. Let's see. Mark was shaking his head. It was just the boys. Oh, also, really quick, at this time, Janice Combs with the boys had been in the courtroom, and by this time, Janice Combs had left. She was like, I don't got time for this, and it was just the boys sitting there, okay? I think that they need to stop showing up for this startup with the thing with Cassie. Maybe all the other people, they can be there, but with Cassie, I just think it's a bad look. White for an angel, stay protected. Thank you so much, and Big Red said, thank you for getting the info. I was at work hoping you get it all. Standing ovation, thank you. Okay, so then let's get back into the affair / the not affair, because Diddy didn't want to let this go. He is still mad about whatever happened with Kid Cudi. And the thing is with Diddy, because everybody, including the jury, saw Diddy passing notes and ordering his people around. Diddy, do you not think you don't look like a complete psycho? That you are still hot and bothered and trying to harass Cassie about a 1-month relationship that happened 10 years ago while you were beating her ass every day and cheating on her left, right, up, and down? Ali said, I can now see why Diddy's black attorney left the case. Yo, I can see it too, just lack of control. So anyway, they said, listen, they said, so they were like, so then why did you come and talk to Cassie? And he was like, they asked Cassie, why did you go after she found out that you were seeing Kid Cudi? Why'd you go to his house to talk? And she said, honestly, I wanted to talk because I wanted to smooth things over. Again, she was still a Smex worker. By that time, she just accepted her position as a Smex worker. She also said, and I also wanted to talk with people because all of Diddy's staff and everybody was around, so I felt safer because I know Diddy would have wanted to address it. She said, this is what they said. This is what the defense said based off of notes that Diddy was openly passing them in court. They said, so it didn't mean anything to you that the relationship was offensive to Diddy because Kid Cudi's stature in the industry. And I said, what? Are they trying to call Kid Cudi a loser? But I said, no, back then, Kid Cudi was super, super big, right? He was super, super big. So I was like, where are they going with this, right? And then Cassie literally said, I'm sorry, I don't follow. Can you rephrase, right? So then she sat there and Diddy looked at her like, you better rephrase. So she rephrased and she said, you knew that the relationship was offensive to Diddy. And Cassie was like, correct. And it's like, and this is because he was in the industry. And she said, yeah, you could say that. Get this. Diddy was, and then they said, because at the end of the day, Diddy, whenever he cheated on you, and Cassie was like, and he cheated often, Diddy, when he was cheated on you, it was always with a non-celebrity. And Cassie was like, was it? And they were like, yeah, but you dated a celebrity, and you know that was the thing that was going to get under Diddy's skin. And I said, Diddy is so arrogant. And he has completely lost control that you are now letting us into your God complex. Diddy, who that for you? Who are you that you're cheating left and right? Cassie maybe sees somebody in the industry and now you think you can Diddy stomp her and stomp her. Oh wait, you guys look. That's Cassie's husband. That is Cassie's husband. That was Alex. He's right there. He got a security two-piece. Cassie hasn't come out yet, but can y'all see? Alex Fine just rolled out. That was just Alex. Oh, did I tell y'all? I was in the cafeteria and I was standing there and Alex was there with the security. I was going to say something to him like, hi, Alex, but I know they're under a gag order. I know he can't say anything and I don't want to make him feel uncomfortable. So I was like, why put him in a situation where I know that I'm going to try to get some tea for him, but I did see him in the cafeteria. I was standing just a few feet away from him, but I chose not to say anything. But yeah, that was Alex Fine rushing to the car. If y'all saw this, okay? If that was Alex Fine rushing to the car. Listen, somebody said, dang, you should have zoomed in on that bad boy. Yo, Cassie did the big one with Alex. I see why Diddy was so upset because you can't compete Diddy at all. At all. Alex could be 90 and you still can't compete Diddy. Nandifa Vanity, thank you so much for the super chat. Also, Ali said, yeah. Okay, so, where else are we? Hold on. Let me get to the bottom of this. Okay, so anyway, I'm hanging out also because I think Cassie's leaving out through the side entrance, and I think the Cassie's hanging out through the side entrance. I think gonna leave, and also Diddy's kids. So I'm gonna try to turn the phone and get that for you. Natural C, thank you so much for the super chat. You know what? I will say one thing. Diddy made Alex and those kids and Cassie multimillionaires, and baby, we love to see it. Anyway, Tara Grant said Cassie's had Stockholm Syndrome. Defense act like this isn't a thing. No, you don't understand. They weren't even acting like, oh, sorry. No, they weren't even acting like it wasn't a thing. They were literally acting like, literally all Diddy cared about was settling this old grudge. Hold on, what else is going on there? Look, there's a lot of press set up over there. But you know, we was in the building, so we doing the big thing. Hi, this is Tisha reporting live from the courthouse. Today in court, Diddy acted like a plumb fool. Cassie ran circles around him, and it's pretty much confirmed that that mofo was going to jail. Next, live at 8, we'll give you the details. Okay, so anyway, right? So where else were we? Hold on. The defense was trying their best to paint Cassie as a hoe and a social climber, but it was not going well, right? They were like, weren't you mad that Diddy never spent the holidays? Weren't you mad that Diddy was with another woman for Christmas? Cassie looked at them and said, I wouldn't know. They said, what do you mean you wouldn't know? I don't know what he was doing. I never spent the holidays with him, right? Didn't that make you angry? She was like, I mean, how can, she's like, at first. She was so nonchalant. She said, at first, it did. But you know, then I just got used to it, right? They were like, but what about Diddy putting you in the studio? They brought it up again with Kid Cudi. And she was like, yeah, that's true, right? Then again, I made a note. I said, how is Cassie a hoe for dating one guy for a month out of 7? At this point, they were together for 7 years. After 7 years of abuse, you cannot be serious. Victoria Audia Harpenting, thank you so much for the super chat. I said, you cannot be serious. But of course they were, because that's just what they do. Okay. Oh, also Sarah McCloskey, thank you so much for the super chat. Danielle, keep doing your thing, Tisa. I will. Also, see, now here's the funny thing about y'all. When I'm reading my super chats, hold on. Gadget Girl 9999 Needs said, you're truly an investigative reporter. Here's the funny thing, not all y'all, but the people in the back. Y'all got a problem when I read my super chats, when I'm actually doing something where I'm getting like funded by my family, stay out of family business. But yet when I swung the phone around to show y'all Alex running out the courtroom, y'all was cheering. Really? So y'all don't have a problem when I go on my ADHD rambles, as long as it benefits you. Ask yourself why it is. I still love you. Come in for a hug. But y'all need to ask yourselves why that is. Victoria said, I get everything but the weather with Tisa. And Man Untrue said, thank you, Tisa. You're the best. Also, James Johnson said, thank you, girl. Love the info. Yes. Listen. And Jacqueline Miles, thank you so much for the super chat. So, then they're like, were you given the impression that Gina was not around, right? When you were messing with Cuddy? But even if everything you're saying is true, where is the crime? Maria Flores, thank you so much for the super chat. Again, Allie said, don't pay the chat no mind. Get your coin, Tisa. You know I am. But listen, here's the one thing that I want to impress on you that was so wild. Right? Leading Lights are coming through, and Tattletale with the Tattletales Network come through. And also B Crumbs, thank you for gifting 5 memberships. And E Freeze said, you're doing a great job. God bless. Thank you. But here's the thing I wanted to get through. It was really, really surreal. And Diamond Blanco, thank you for the super chat. That he had his whole defense team asking Cassie questions about how dare she defy the great Sean Combs, asking Cassie questions about how dare she defy the great Diddy. It was so crazy. Anyway, then Cassie said that she was messing with Michael B. Jordan. I said, I know that's right. You better come through, Cassandra Ventura. She stayed with a nice looking man. Nia Gill, thank you so much for the super chat. Truly. Nicola, thank you for the super chat. Nia Gill, thank you for the generous super chat. Nicola, you too, baby. Thank you. And Laura Smith said, girl, super crime explorer and beauty pro. Are you a Gemini? You're adorable. The Geminis in the chat get me. Okay. So anyway, Cassie was messing with Michael B. Jordan. She said that they broke up over Gina while she was filming Honey 3. I said, Honey 3? Honey 1 was a flop. I said, they made a third one? It must have been on the Nickelodeon network. I didn't catch it. Anyway, they said they broke up over Gina because they saw Diddy and Gina at a festival holding hands, and he got super, super upset, right? Then she said that it was retaliation. So then Diddy's team was like, it was retaliation for him being with Gina, her being with Gina. And Cassie looked at him and she said, no. And I said, you trying to say that she saw Michael B. Jordan and said, I don't like him. I think he ugly, but I go retaliate for Gina? Boy, listen, I'm going to retaliate. Oh, really quick. Also, y'all, also in the super chat, Cassie actually, before I left out the courtroom, she actually bought up Jonathan Oddie. She bought up Jonathan Oddie. We'll talk about that in a second. Let me just get through this, right? Anyway, Cassie was messing with, they said, okay, so anyway, she said that she didn't do it in retaliation for Gina. She did it because it was Michael B. Jordan, right? And Diddy was incensed that, again, she was dating another celebrity, right? And again, why is that a big deal? At that point, when she saw the pictures of Diddy hiding Gina, she text messaged the video to KK, Diddy, Eli, D-Rock, and April. And she literally sent that to him and was like, yo, like, what is going on, right? And she's mad because she thought they were family. She confided in them. She sought help. She did that. And she said they were not just friends. They were trying to paint a picture that Cassie had a big, hold on. Also, you guys, they officially adjourned, but don't forget tomorrow, Jonathan Oddie is going to be brought up in court. I'm going to be there live and direct. And as soon as they're done, I am sneaking out and giving y'all live tomorrow morning. So make sure y'all have your phones on, right? They also said they were trying to paint a picture that Cassie wasn't alone, that she had a big group of friends and support. But I think what they were trying to say is, yeah, that's not true. They weren't my friends. They were my babysitters of 4 to 7 years, right? They also talked about what else, right? They said that, she said that Diddy also abused her former stylist, Deontay, right? They experienced abuse also. Listen. Oh, another thing that they did that I thought was crazy, they argued that Diddy was high the whole time. So he didn't have the mens rea, the mind element, in order to actually commit this. They said because Diddy was an addict, we can't blame him. We can't blame him for what he did. It's not gonna work. But again, this was all coming from Diddy. It's not gonna work, but it was all coming from Diddy. Kim South said she stayed with a good-looking man in her age group, and itty bitty wee wee Diddy was big mad about it. I know he was right. Nicola Ristic, thank you so much for the super chat. Also, shout out to Vita May. Thank you for the super chat. Also, I want to give a shout out to, who else am I missing? Cody 39 said, Tisa, I finally figured out how to turn on my notifications. Everything stops when I see you. Thank you so much. Diana Fabric said, you are awesome. Also, Clean Savvy Biz, thank you so much for the super chat. Vitamin, you know I'm loving it. Swimwater Blue said, take that. Yes, go Gemini. That's right. Also, really quick, who else is that? Oh, Nicola Risser, thank you for another super chat. Kim South, again, she did stay with that. Take that itty bitty ditty. Also, Chelsea Lane said, we're not talking legacy. We talking lawsuits and abuse. Exactly. Marie Bear said, LOL, those impatient haters don't work for them. That's right, I don't work for y'all. I mean, I kind of do, but shut up. I'll quit tomorrow if I have to. LOL, thanks for all you do. And P said, hey, Tisa, I'm glad I'm off tomorrow. Girl, I'll be here. Make sure you tune in. Jonathan Oddie is going to be testifying. Tanika Brown said, Tisa, I got the actual pic of one of the guys that blinked on Cassie, and y'all, he looks like his blink is green. I wouldn't even sit next to him on the train. Stop it. Karma Plushie, thank you so much for the super chat. And also, Sandra, we said Cassie fell in love. Cassie fell in love with her boss. Do you criticize your boss or try to constantly please them? Most accommodate their bosses. Diddy's behavior is illegal in all 50 states. Also, Chantel Renee said, take that, take that, take that. And Andrea Moronis, thank you so much for the super chat. Okay, so what else happened? Diddy was still passing notes around, ordering everybody. The celebrity. So the best thing is, Bev, thank you so much for the super chat. This is the weirdest part. Diddy tried to paint it that the reason why he was so abusive to Cassie and the way he was throwing her around on a rag doll is because he was just trying to get her clean. Because he was so thrown off that she was on rugs, and that if she wasn't, and all her friends had her on rugs, and that's why every time he saw her out with her friends, he was beating her. Even though Cassie was like, but you had no problem me doing rugs when I was with you. You just didn't want me to be around my friends, right? The prosecution tried to impeach her and say she was lying about stuff that she saw. Evelyn Williams, thank you so much for the super chat. The prosecutor tried to impeach her and say she lied about like what she saw, which was a lie to begin with. But what are you going to do about stuff like that? What else happened? I'm going to go over this all in a detailed live later on tonight with all my notes. But again, they said that Diddy tried to get, Lochna Twist Nation said, I'm loving you in your reporter role. Tell it all, T. I'm retired and got a good time. And Hattie Lewis, thank you so much for the super chat. And also, of course, Locks and Twist, thank you so much for the super chats. Okay, so where else, Anna? They also, hey girl, what's up? Oh wait, hold on, y'all. So anyway, also, I wonder if Ava Baroni will come up. Me too. I'm wondering also, listen, I got to ask somebody a very important question. Let me hop off this live. I'm going to jump back on in about like 25 minutes, and then we're going to talk all things Jonathan Audie. All right? Oh, also, who am I missing? I think I got everybody. Oh, Ebony said, stay safe, T. Says, blessing to you and yours, protect your peace. I definitely will. But listen, I'm going to be back on live in 30 minutes because we got to talk about what happened with Jonathan Audie and the last 40 minutes of Cassie's testimony because it is explosive, all right? I will talk to y'all later. Bye.